What's up, everyone? It is your girl Jail Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today we're gonna do another 5 things from old school YouTube I can't let go. But this time we're gonna do eyeshadow palettes. So I originally did complexion first, just for you all to see concealers and foundations from old school YouTube I wasn't about to let go. And this time around, I figured it'd be fun to do some eyeshadow palettes, because y'all know it'd be these old palettes that people was talking about that was just wonderful, and it was sliced bread and it was in everybody's favorites. And then like you don't hear about them anymore, but it's like they're cult classic favorites that everybody loves and has in their collection videos that, you know, they just hold on to. So I'm going to show the ones that I have in my collection and tell you why I'm not letting them go. Now, one of them I actually do need to let go because it's super old, and it's actually on sale on the company's website right now for Juneteenth. So that should tell you that it's a black owned brand right there. So I will be letting it go, but only to buy another one. So don't get it twisted. We're not letting it go, just we're letting it go to get a fresh one. Okay? Thank you. So I'm talking about the Juvia's Place, the Masquerade mini palette. This is one of those old school palettes. Like, this was one of the first colorful palettes I ever bought from Juvia's Place. I originally bought the Nubian, then I bought the Nubian 2, and then I bought this one and the Magic. The Magic is still in my collection as well. I'm not letting that one go either. Spoiler alert for when I do another one of these, that will be in this video. I love that one more than I like this one. The reason I like this one though, because they have all these fun colors at the top. I don't really look toward the bottom because, as y'all know, these are the neutral shades that I don't really care about. But the top part of this palette was always what was exciting to me. And I feel like it's just a cult classic favorite in your collection that you just have to have. Like, this was one of the first Juvia's Place palettes that became really popular, and I feel like put them on the map when it came to color, before they just became the colorful people that they are now, where every time you look up it's color, 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 color everywhere. And they rarely do nudes, even though they just came out with a nude collection. So I guess they try to mix it in here and there, but I feel like they're more known for like having unique fun color stories, and this was like the very first unique fun color story they came out with, and I was here for it, and I still have mine. So this one I'm going to give to my cousins because it's on the older side, but I feel like it still performs okay, so I'll give it to them and let them play with it. But I'm gonna give me a fresh one because, you know, I'm a YouTuber, and some stuff I feel like is a requirement in my collection, and that's one of the things I'm not ever finna let go. Okay, you hear me? Ever. That and the Magic, you can't have it. The Tribe, you can't have either. Next, I have the Good Sport palette from Colourpop, and y'all know damn well I ain't letting this go. I remember when this first came out, it first came to my doorstep, I rushed in my bathroom to do an eye look, and then I went to dinner with my cousin, and I got a compliment on my eyeshadow just because, I mean, look at this color swatch. It's absolutely stunning. I don't know what the hell they were thinking of getting rid of this. Like, they should have never gotten rid of this. It's absolutely stunning. There's so many other palettes they could have got rid of, but they chose to get rid of this. I don't know what they were thinking. Hugs, not drugs. Y'all got 14 million neutral palettes, 500 monochromatic palettes, but you got rid of something that was colorful and fun. Why? What were you thinking? I mean, I know it probably wasn't selling as well as other things, but the fact that people talk about it for years on now and still talk about how you shouldn't have got rid of it should tell you everything you need to know. Like, for a surprise for one day in fall, you just need to re-drop this palette out, have a certain amount of units, put it out, and just, you know, let people buy it. Because everybody keeps talking about this, and when I see collection videos, it's rare that anybody ever lets go of this palette. The only person I think I've seen let go of this palette was Andrea Montanaro, and then she said she put it back in her collection because all of us yelled at her, but then she took it out again this time permanently and kept it out. I'm like, okay girl, do you. But what I will not do is let go of this palette. This is part of old school YouTube history. I think this is like the first 2 years they came out with palettes that they came out with this palette. Now they've been coming out with palettes for like, what, 4 years or something? I don't know the timeline, honey. After 2020, I don't know a timeline for anything. You hear me? Don't ask me. I don't know. I mean, I barely know how old I am and the boy, okay? But yeah, so this is one of those palettes from old school YouTube I'm never letting go. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you say. It will stay here forever. Next one I have is a classic, and since the brand has changed their formula and people like the new formula, I'm scared to let it go for that reason alone, okay? This is the Black Girls Modern Renaissance. So if you know what I'm talking about, you should already know. I'm talking about the Color Rain Queen of Hearts. To me, this is just the brown girl friendly version of the Modern Renaissance palette from He Who Should Not Be Mentioned, because this is definitely working for someone my skin tone way better than that one was. It's not a lot of those beige shades that they had. I think it's like maybe this one shade right here, but all the other shades work better for someone my skin tone, and the color story is exactly the same as theirs. I mean, I'd prefer a little more berry tones than the orange, but I mean, overall the palette is wonderful. The formula on this is amazing. It was limited edition, and they had to make it permanent because we wanted it that much, and they had to keep restocking it that much. So that tells you how popular this palette was and still is to me. This is still my brown girl friendly version of Modern Renaissance, and I will be holding on to it forever. Hopefully they take change the formula back to the way it used to be, because I don't know how the new one is working on this, and I'm scared to get a new one because of that. So I will definitely be holding on to this one, my original one that I bought years ago, just because I'm afraid to buy a new one and see how the formula is going to be. Okay, so the second to last palette, number 4, is the Gemini palette. Now, although my Gemini palette is new packaging, this is old school palette. I showed y'all my old packaging, how it's falling apart, if I remember correctly. Like, this part down here has disconnected from the glue, and it only magnet only sticks to the top part. So I was like, when they had the bundle going on with the new Gemini 2, I had to take advantage, because girl, I was a mess. Plus, it has these cute new embossments in it. If you all can see, they have like flower embossments in the new one, I mean in the new Gemini, along with the Gemini 2. So that was another reason for me to go ahead and have an excuse to get this palette, because I'm like, it has cute new embossment. It's going to be a fresh new palette. And then with the older palette, I took the shades out of it that I didn't necessarily want or need, and put in different melt palettes, because the melt palettes are changeable, just like the Colourpop ones. I want to show y'all a collection of palettes I just recreated, but I forgot to bring one with me. And I'm going to do them by brand. So I've done some melt ones, so I'll bring my melt ones next time. I want to do my Colourpop ones this time, and then I want to do I don't think I have any other brands I've done that with. I might have one other brand. I'm trying to think. But those are the 2 brands I know I've done it with for sure. But Gemini is something I'm not letting go. This is like one of the old school palettes of YouTube. This is one of the first palettes they came out with. I think they came out with this in like the 27 one. And then they did palettes ever since and got rid of the stacks. But this is just an old school one. I feel like it's required to have in your collection. If you're a grungy makeup lover like I am, you need to have the Gemini palette. The last palette I have to talk about is the Viseart Dark Matte. Now, I didn't buy the original, what is it, Neutral Matte palette that everybody else bought. I never liked that palette. As you can see, I got the old school packaging and everything. So that's how serious I was about this palette. Like, I was not playing any games up in here. Like, look at it. It tries to pop out though, because it's the older one. One time I was filming a video and the whole thing literally popped out on me, which was very disrespectful. Which I guess that's why they made the palettes, the new ones, the way they were, where you could just pop the shades out and move them around, so that way you don't have to worry about this case popping out. Because I'm still holding it now, because at this corner right here it still tries to pop out, even though I've popped it back in a few times. But the point is, the quality on this is amazing. This is one of my favorite Viseart palettes to use. I love this one. I love the Grande Pro 3. I love the Editorial and the Koi. Those are the ones I use the most when it comes to my Viseart palettes. And then I have the little miniature ones I like to use from time to time and things of that nature. But when it comes to the big boys that cost the big money, it's this one, Grande Pro Volume 3, Koi, and Editorial Brights. Those are the ones I reach for. So these are the 5 palettes from old school YouTube I won't let go in this edition. I'm sure there'll be more editions, because y'all know there's plenty of palettes that got hyped up back in the day that we don't hear about anymore, don't see anymore, that are classics in the YouTube community. And I want to share my take on them and why I like them and why I plan on keeping them in my collection. So those are my thoughts. Those are my 5 palettes. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.